Hi, this is Ann Desseyn, and today we're in the studio with Patricia Reszetylo. Now, she is a business coach and top marketing strategist that knows and understands the fundamentals and principles that help small business owners see dramatic and immediate increases in both their revenue and profits, no matter what type of business or industry you're in. For everyone listening that owns their own small business, how would you like a simple, proven, and tested way you can double your profits with little time, effort, or expense on your part? In fact, what if you could discover a formula today that would create massive exponential growth for your business, starting immediately? If you ask any small business owner what they need most in their business, you get the same two answers every time: more customers and more revenue. But here's the problem: what does it take to produce more customers and more revenue? And how can you do this consistently? That's why Patricia is here with us today. Patricia, welcome to the studio.
Thank you so much, Anne. It's a pleasure to be here. You know, that was a really great question. So let's dive right in and give your listeners some cutting-edge information they can use in their own business. You mentioned the top two hot button issues that we constantly hear when we're talking with small business owners: customers and revenue. Let's simplify this a little and focus first on customers. First, you must generate leads, and then you must convert those leads into customers. When you break down the end result into leads and conversion, you can now put together a strategic plan of action to attain that end result. As for revenue, once you generate leads and then you convert those leads into clients or customers or patients or members or whatever you call the people that you are selling things to, right? Those people will pay you a specific price for whatever it is that you're selling. And the price you charge should always be based on the value that you provide. So price and value are the first two components in the revenue equation, but it doesn't stop there.
So what's next?
Well, you've got expenses to pay, and those expenses come directly out of that revenue you just generated. So the next revenue component to consider is your margin. How much of that revenue do you actually get to put in your pocket? But you're still not done. Oh my gosh, if they only buy from you one time, you're right back where you started. Now you need to generate a whole new batch of leads, convert them again into clients or customers or whatever you call them, right? It's a never-ending cycle.
Well, sounds like it, all right. Now, that's certainly frustrating to a lot of business owners. Can they do anything about that situation?
Oh, absolutely. What if you could compel those people that you're selling to increase the number of transactions that they complete with you year after year? So instead of one and done, as we say, what if you could increase the number of times they buy? So think about it like this. If you could find a way to get just 25% of your current customers to buy 5 times from you every year instead of just once, your total annual revenue doubles. Most business owners only focus on generating more leads instead of finding ways to get their current customers to spend more money with them. But here's what every small business owner needs to know and understand. It's called the 80-20 rule. Here's how it applies, in this case, to small business owners. 20% of what you do every day actually produces 80% of your revenue. In other words, there's only a few things that generate the vast majority of the revenue that we're making every day. Over years of working with business owners, we've discovered what makes up that 20% that all of us should focus on.
Well, hold on a minute, Patricia. Everyone, if you don't have a pen and paper in front of you right now, you might want to grab something and write these down. Really, go on and get a pen.
Alrighty, here we go. So there's just 5 critical areas that every small business owner must focus on in order to build a multi-million-dollar business: leads, conversions, transactions, pricing, and profit. So we're going to use some specific numbers to illustrate exactly the importance of these 5 areas. So in order for you to double your profits and create exponential growth, you have to start with a baseline. That means you need to know where your current numbers are in each of these areas. So first, you need to work out exactly where those numbers are. Once you have them, you can work out what you need to double those profits and make sure that you're spending your time doing what you need to be doing. So let me give you an example, and I'll start with leads. So let's say your current baseline is 1,000 leads per year. Your conversion rate is 25%, meaning 1 of every 4 of those people that you get in front of agrees to buy from you. So that means you convert 250 of those 1,000 leads into customers. Let's also assume that your number of annual transactions per customer is 10. So each of your 250 customers buys what you're selling 10 times a year. Let's further assume that your average sale is $100. So your 250 customers are buying a $100 product or service from you 10 times each year, which comes to a total annual revenue of $250,000. Now, you've got to subtract out all your expenses, rent, mortgage, salaries, marketing, cost of goods, payroll, all that good stuff. Taking all of that into account, we're going to assume that your profit margin is 25%. So of that 250,000 in sales, you're only left with a profit of 62,500. The goal now is to find a way to increase each of these 5 critical metrics for your business.
Well, so Patricia, you are saying that instead of living in a constant state of overwhelm, as most business owners seem to do, these 5 areas can actually have a tremendous impact on their business.
Absolutely. Exactly. So let me show you what I mean. Let's start with leads. Did you know that there are 30 separate, distinct strategies that can dramatically increase your leads? And they're all field tested and proven to work.
Could you give us one of them?
Absolutely. One of the most effective and powerful ways to generate leads today is through a targeted direct mail campaign. Now, a campaign means multiple mailings, since a single mailing seldom produces any kind of positive result. Unfortunately, most business owners never attempt a direct mail campaign because of the expense that's involved, which is actually why it's so effective. When people aren't doing things, when other people aren't using marketing strategies, it's more effective for the people who do use them. However, if you know that one new customer brings you $100 10 times a year, okay, each customer is bringing you in $1,000 a year, then you know you're going to make, that $1,000 for that customer you generate. So suppose you decide to test a direct mail. So let's say you elect to initially mail to 25,000 prospects, and you can send direct mail today for around 60 cents each. 25,000 prospects at 60 cents each means you're going to invest $15,000 for that mailing. A typical 4% response rate produces 1,000 new leads. If we stick with our original 25% close rate, we know we're going to get 250 new customers who each bring us 1,000 in revenue for a total of 250,000. Now, if your profit margin is 25%, then your profit is 62,500. So you've obviously made some substantial money from this campaign. But consider this. Now, one of the strategies I teach my clients allows them to execute a direct mail campaign to as many homes as they want to target and do it all for free. Free. And all this strategy requires from the business owner is a minimal amount of their time.
Are you kidding? That sounds too good to be true.
And marketing is an infinite subject. We're only limited by our imagination and our experience. One of the great advantages of being a student of marketing across multiple industries is that you begin to see solutions that are normally hidden to people who only operate in a single business model. And think about it. If you're a building contractor, I don't know, in the States maybe, and you've been operating in that space for 25 years, how could you possibly know all the ways that a dentist in Australia markets to his business or car dealer in Japan? You probably don't. Experienced business coaches, however, bring an outside perspective to their clients, and these fresh insights give their clients the ability to outperform the competition and in most cases, completely dominate their market.
I see what you're saying, Patricia.
So, Ann, what if I could show a business owner how they could double their number of leads using a networking strategy? Or how to implement a no-cost yet highly effective referral campaign? Or how to set up lucrative strategic endorsement partnerships where other business owners sell your product or service on your behalf? Or perhaps you'd like to use a presentation strategy where you host an online presentation highlighting what you do using a webinar or a teleseminar. Or how about a comprehensive internet marketing campaign using Facebook or LinkedIn? And these strategies are just a drop in the bucket when it comes to helping you generate all the leads your business can handle. But whichever one or more of these strategies you choose to use for your business, do you think most small business owners could conservatively generate at least 10% more leads by using them?
But that certainly sounds very reasonable. Can you apply this to the example that you just gave us?
Absolutely. So instead of generating 1,000 leads per year, which was our original number, would you say that conservatively you could easily generate 100 more, so 1,100 leads per year? That's just an extra 100 leads a year, or 2 leads more a week. And that's leads, that's not even customers. So consider this example. Have you ever met a real estate agent? Yeah, of course, we've all met real estate agents, especially if we're networking. When you ask what they do, they all say, I sell real estate. That's not very compelling at all. In fact, when a prospect hears that, you typically think, so, big deal. There's nothing that makes you want to engage with them. But when real estate agents like to network, they like to network. So let's say an agent goes to networking events and proclaims to everyone they meet that I sell real estate. Let's assume that, for every 10 people that hear the agent, one of them is interested and wants to talk to them about possibly selling their home. They just happen to be, in the right phase of ownership. They're getting ready to sell. So yeah, sure, they'll talk to them. But, consider this. Instead of telling people that I sell real estate, suppose they said this: I help families buy homes larger than they thought they could afford. Ooh, that perks my ears up. I'm not even in the home buying, phase of life right now, and I find that interesting. Or suppose they said this: I can sell any home for top dollar within 29 days, and if I don't, I sell it for free. That's interesting too. Oh my gosh, Now, Ann, out of every 10 people that hear one of those, how many do you think are going to respond now?
Oh my gosh, I would think anyone even remotely thinking about buying or selling a home would want to know more than from an agent. He wants to know more.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's interesting. That it sets them apart, and of course they would. So let's just say conservative and say just 2 now respond to them. 2 instead of 1. That's 100% increase in leads. And that's just from changing one sentence coming out of their mouth. So my question now is this: with the 30 powerful and proven lead generation strategies available to help small business owners generate more leads, would you agree that just a 10% increase in leads is an ultra conservative figure?
Heck yeah. In fact, that's kind of a no-brainer.
It's absolutely a no-brainer. Good, so that takes care of leads. Now let's tackle that second critical area: conversions. Your conversion rate is where the prospect is now a customer or a client. They're agreeing to buy what you sell. That simply means you found a way to compel their decision-making process so that they chose you over your competition. What if we can help you convert your leads and close the sale at a rate that's just 10% more than you're doing right now?
Now, give us some examples.
Sure. What if I could teach you how to write powerful marketing and advertising copy, along with persuasive sales scripts, and have you write them all better than 95% of all the copywriters alive today? There's some good ones out there. Then what if your copy was so compelling and persuasive that it would position your business as the only logical choice from your prospect to buy from?
You can do that?
Not just that. Suppose I could give you a strategy that would teach you how to add so much value to what you sell that you could charge even more than your competition charges, and your prospects wouldn't think twice about paying that. And what if I could teach you how to completely eliminate any barrier to entry for your prospect? How to create irresistible offers that practically forced your prospect to buy from you? And perhaps most importantly, what if we could hand you an entire drip campaign from your prospects who don't initially buy from you?
Well, that's certainly an impressive list. But tell me, what is a drip campaign?
That's a good question. A drip campaign is a series of follow-up communications. It's usually by email or direct mail, and it continuously nurtures your prospect until they're actually ready to make that purchase. Did you know that the typical prospect doesn't buy until they get a minimum of 6 marketing messages from you? If you're in business today, are you currently sending out a minimum of 6 follow-up messages to your current prospects? And if you're not, you are leaving an absolute fortune on the table.
Wow, I had absolutely no idea.
Most small businesses don't either. So now the big question. With all of these conversion strategies working for you, would you agree it should be easy to increase your conversion rate from our original 25% to maybe even 35%? That's actually really, really easy to do. But as we did with our leads, we're going to keep our numbers ultra conservative. Would you agree that conservatively, knowing what I've just shared with you, you would have no problem whatsoever increasing your conversion rate from a meager 10%, from 25% to 27.5%.
I think that's way too conservative.
I know. We're going to use that low number anyway. So now we're converting 27.5% of our 1,100 leads, which now totals 302 clients. Remember, we started at only 250. Now we're at 302.
Cool. So what is next?
Now we're going to increase our number of transactions. We're going to implement a series of strategies that will compel our clients to buy from us more often. I'm going to start with a real life example. So last week, I got the carpets in my house cleaned. I had the company clean just 4 rooms, paid the guy $120, and that was the end of the transaction. That was it. In, out. There was no process in place to try and get me to do business with them more often. The crew chief said to me was, if you have any friends that need their carpets cleaned, please let me know. And to be completely honest, I hadn't had my carpets cleaned in ages. They really, really needed it. So, what do you think I'd have done if you'd suggested that I enroll in his gold program and he'd do them for me 3 times a year at a special price? I know I'm going to get my carpets cleaned again. That doesn't mean I'm going to choose him. And the only reason I used him anyway in the first place was his company offered a Groupon that caught my eye. I didn't know this company from a hole in the wall. But now that I hired them, they have the opportunity to get me on the hook for 3 cleanings a year rather than coming once every 2 years. If that strategy got just 1 in 3 people to sign up, then the company just doubled their sales. Poof.
Oh, geez. What a story. That's amazing. So you only clean your carpets every 2 years, huh? Right. Got another one.
Sure. How about a florist? Okay. So guys buying flowers for their better half, once a year, like maybe on her birthday or Valentine's, once a year if that. So suppose we had a florist and we taught them how to set up a continuity program that we call Lover of the Year. A little lame, but whatever. Where a guy comes into the florist shop once a year. He selects a pre-arranged package of flowers, gifts, cards, whatever, and each targets a special date for the coming calendar year for his better half. Might include Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, her birthday, their anniversary, and maybe a day, just an out of the blue, just thinking of you day. So for each package the guy selects, it would include, a specific floral arrangement that fit the occasion, a special gift that she'll treasure forever, a romantic card containing a special handwritten message. And all this can be done in about 20 minutes. Florist guarantees to deliver each arrangement on the appropriate days. And he'll send an email or a text reminder to the guy the day before so that he doesn't forget the occasion and to confirm that the delivery will be made on time. Extra bonus is the guy doesn't forget that, it's her birthday or it's their anniversary. Guys are notorious for that. So the florist could finance the entire cost of the program over 12 months, charge the guy's credit card a set amount each month to make it, an affordable no-brainer, out of sight, out of mind. Guys love this because the entire year's planned out. They don't have to make their typical last-minute dash to the store. Oh my God, it's the anniversary. Oh no, and they go to the gas station and pick up an air freshener. Oh, do you realize that this florist just conditioned this client to buy from them 5 times a year instead of once? And you think this guy will tell 4 or 5 of his friends about this unique program? Of course he will. And did you know a version of this strategy can be adapted to work for almost any business in any industry? I can show you how to implement this strategy for any business.
Wow, now that's incredible. So what is the impact then on our original business that we've been talking about?
Right, so looking back at our original numbers and remaining ultra conservative, we could assume that it would be fairly simple to use strategies like this to easily increase our original 10 visits each year to just 11. We're just adding one. Ultra conservative 10%. So now we have 302 clients paying us 11 times a year instead of just 10 times. At $100 a visit, that's 332,200 instead of 302,000. That's $30,000.
Sure it is.
That's a car.
It's amazing. I think I'm starting to see why you referred to this earlier as exponential growth.
Absolutely. Now let's consider price in this equation. What if I could help you implement a series of targeted strategies that allow you to instantly increase your sales price with no effect whatsoever on your conversion rate?
With no effect on conversions. Now you've got my attention.
Great. Did you know that price is one of the least understood components when it comes to small business ownership? Let me explain this in very basic terms. And for those of you who are small business owners, pay very close attention to what I'm about to say. This could be a major revelation for you. Suppose you sell a product for $100 and the net profit on that is 25%. That means after you pay the rent, salaries, commissions, cost of acquisition of the product, utilities, everything else, right? You get to put $25 of that 100 into your bank account. So what happens if you increase that price by just 10%? 10%. Did you realize that additional 10% is pure profit? Typically, there's no additional expense that must be factored into determining your net profit. Your net profit just went from 25 to 35. That means your profit on this one product just increased by a whopping 40%.
That makes sense, but is increasing your pricing really feasible? Most business owners I know lie awake in bed every night trying to figure ways to lower their prices so they can be more competitive.
Yeah, they sure do. So the question becomes, how can you increase your prices and get away with it? There's 2 key methods here that will allow you to do that. They go hand in hand with each other. First is you add more value. Easiest way to do that is through bundling. Okay, bundling is where you take different products and services and put them together to create a new higher priced offering. You see this all the time on infomercials on TV, where they wow you with the versatility and the convenience of the new wave oven, and then they add everything, including the kitchen sink, to create the perception of massive value. Watch these infomercials when you see them on TV. I know it's scary, but because you're gonna buy something. But watch them when you see them. You're gonna see that they follow the same bundling formula, including at the end when they make their offer a complete no-brainer by deciding that they're going to send you 2 of the products for the same price as 1. So who else uses this? The George Foreman grill, Nutrisystem, the Snuggie, ShamWow. List is absolutely endless. They all use bundling to increase the perceived value, and they make a fortune doing it. The other factor is to explain the reason why you're increasing your prices to your customer. If you say, I had to increase my prices 10% because of X, Y, and Z, more often than not, they let you get away with it. Here's another revelation for, all small business owners. The easiest and fastest way to increase your prices is to increase your prices. Just do it. You heard that right. Simply raise them, 10%. Here's why. Most small businesses compete on price. Increasing their prices has never been an option, much less a consideration. That's because they really haven't considered the facts when it comes to increasing their prices. So let's say a business sells a widget for $100, has a profit margin of 30%. If they discount their price by just 10% to $90, now they have to sell 50% more widgets just to get back to their original profit margin. Does any business owner today really think a measly 10% discount will generate 50% more sales? Most of them offer discounts from 25 to 50%, and then they wonder why they're going broke. But watch what happens when you increase your pricing. So let's say the business charges 10% more for that widget. That makes their price $110. Now, ask yourself this. Will that small increase really lead to a loss of customers? Probably not, unless the business offers a really basic commodity with many other competitors offering the same exact thing at a lower price. Then it's basically convenience and not the price that comes into play. Even if it does lead to customer attrition, to what extent? With that 10% price increase, the business is now making an additional $10, all of which is profit. That's a 33% profit increase. For this business to make $1,000 in profit selling their widgets at $100 each, they needed to sell 33.3 widgets. Increasing their price 10%, now they only need to sell 25. So who cares if you have fewer customers? You're still making the same money. That means to break even, they would have to lose 25% of their customers over a measly 10% increase. It's really not going to happen. Of course, you want to err on the side of caution and test the increase on a small scale to gauge the reaction. But trust me when I say that any customer attrition will be minuscule. So increasing the price of a business's product or service results in an immediate increase in revenue and profits. So looking back at our original numbers, if we increase our original $100 price point by just 10% to $110, our total revenue has increased from $332,200 to $365,420. We've added $30,000.
Wow, that's a lot of money. You mentioned actually at the start of this interview, there were 5 areas of growth. What is your number 5?
5, yes. Last but not least is profit. Everything we just discussed is worthless if you aren't making a profit on each and every sale. I can teach you ways to slash costs without affecting your day-to-day operations. For example, I can show you how to use barter to significantly reduce or even completely eliminate everyday expenses. You've got accounting, bookkeeping, printing, advertising, office supplies, other everyday business expenses that can be dramatically reduced, sometimes even eliminated by following those strategies. And did you also realize that you can see a huge increase in your profit margin just by properly identifying and then targeting the ideal client or customer? That ties into the 80-20 rule we discussed earlier. Now, in this case, it refers to the fact that 20% of your clients generate 80% of your total profits. If you can replace the 80% of your low margin clients with more of the 20% high margin group, you're going to see those margins explode, sometimes by as much as 16 times. So you don't have more clients, they're just paying you more. Another example has to do with separating your business from your competition by becoming unique in what you do. Setting yourself apart from the herd creates a massive competitive advantage that can just skyrocket those profit margins. As an example, one of our clients used to manufacture more than 1,000 different types of ceramic tiles and accessories. He voluntarily discontinued 80% of his products, focusing his sale and development efforts on just those products that gave him a competitive edge. The result has been a rebirth of his company where he doubled his profit margin and increased his sales.
That's amazing.
So, let's assume you implement just one of these strategies, and keeping the numbers ultra conservatives, we say that your profit margins increase by just 10%. They go from 25% to just 27.5%. We now go from our original profit figure of $62,500 up to $100,490. So now we have over $100,000 in profit, almost doubled that profit, which was our original goal. That's not too bad at all.
That's incredible, Patricia. And it is so logical, it's frightening.
And we're really not talking major changes here. These are small incremental changes that barely cause any disruption to your current business. Any business owner can do this.
Okay, we have a ton of small business owners listening today. Is there some way they can take advantage of this information?
Absolutely. My team and I have created a complete online small business coaching platform that can not only double or triple your profits, but it can create exponential growth for any business starting today, starting, an hour after you get in it. When you use our tools, resources, templates, along with the powerful audio and video training that we have available, you immediately begin to see results like this.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate for just a minute. I think I know what most business owners are thinking right now. Can you actually prove to us in advance that this works?
That's a great question, Ann. And the answer is yes, of course. In fact, I'll prove to any small business owner that this works by offering to put a large sum of money directly in their pocket, and I won't charge them a cent to do it. If any listener will invest just 45 minutes of their time with me, I'll find them a minimum of $10,000 of extra profits hidden in their business. Guaranteed. I know that sounds too good to be true. I assure you that finding more than $10,000 for any small business owner is mere child's play. In fact, when I do these 10K challenges, as I like to call them, I typically find well north of 100,000 for them. Varies a little bit from business to business, but I can often find that. I can do this because my partners and I have worked with thousands of business owners all over the world. We've discovered that none of them apply these very simple and easy business growth strategies that unleash tens of thousands of dollars in hidden revenue in just a matter of minutes. So everyone listening, just give me 45 minutes of your time, and using 3 or 4 simple growth strategies, I'll find you a minimum of $10,000 hidden in your business without spending a cent on extra marketing or advertising.
That's an incredible offer, Patricia. So what's the catch?
There is a catch, Ann, because I do want something in return for my time to do this. I'm currently writing a book that documents the process I use to find more than $10,000 for small business owners. My publisher just asked me to get 12 additional case studies to put in the book that officially documents my ability to find that kind of money for any business in any industry. And listen, because I want to be completely transparent here regarding this offer, the case studies I use in my books let me get a ton of new clients for myself. Think about this. I go in and I find, let's say, a daycare center with an additional $178,000 in profits that they could be putting in their pocket every year, but they aren't, right? I found it. And I guarantee you that every one of those strategies I use to find that daycare, that additional revenue will apply to every other daycare on the planet. So look at the leverage that gives me now as a business growth strategist. I can call up any daycare, anywhere in the world, tell them I met with one of their competitors in an XYZ daycare, And in less than 45 minutes, I found them $178,000 in additional revenue for their business. I'm calling you because my initial research indicates I could produce similar and possibly better results for your daycare, and I'd be interested in speaking with you about a possible profit sharing arrangement with you. Could we schedule a brief 45-minute meeting and let me see if this type of revenue increase is possible for you? Now, what do you think they're going to say? Pardon me. What do you think they're going to say? This is the absolute no-brainer. So every case study I generate opens up a new niche market for me to contact, bring in new clients for my coaching practice, and that's why I'm offering this opportunity to your listeners. And not to mention, I'm truly passionate about helping these people. They're the lifeblood of our economy, and they get so little credit. So I'm asking all of your listeners in return for this service is that they allow me to use the results as a case study in my book. And this might be important for your listeners. I don't have to use your name or the name of your business in the event that you don't want me to. I can simply list your profession, leave off your name and the name of your business. My main interest is to document your actual results and nothing more than that.
So for those who are interested in accepting your offer, do they need to meet with you in person?
Absolutely not. I can do this over the phone. I can do it over the internet. It's so totally convenient for those who would like to participate. So again, if any of you are interested in putting an extra $10,000 or more in your pocket for spending less than 45 minutes speaking with me over the phone, just go to schedulemy10kmeeting.win, and that will take you to my online calendar where you can select a day and time that works for you. That's it. I'll call you then. And in case anyone's wondering, it's not a sales call. There's no selling during our conversation. I'm going to strictly focus on finding you additional revenue and profits.
Patricia, that is an incredible offer. I think I may just have to take you up on that myself. But listen, I want to thank you so much for being on the program today. I don't recall anyone I've ever interviewed providing so much practical and applicable information in such a short time frame. Now, would you mind repeating that URL again, where people can apply for your 10K challenge?
Sure thing, Ann. Just go to schedulemy10kmeeting.win, W-I-N. And then just choose the time and day that's best, that works for you. And then we'll start figuring out where you'd like to spend all the additional revenue I'm going to unlock for you.
Well, again, Patricia, thank you for that very generous offer. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Patricia, one of today's top sales and marketing strategists. I hope you got as much out of today's interview as I did. I think I've taken close to 5 full pages of notes. I want to thank everyone for tuning in today, and I'll be back next week at the same time. Have a terrific week, everyone.
Thanks.